Transformers reviews, tech and the news, whatever else I use as a muse. Hit subscribe, I appreciate the views. Influences interest on YouTube.
Hey, welcome to this video. This is Influence. Thank you for joining me today. First, I want to say thank you to everybody that reached out to me and that left a comment on a post or whatever, sending me well wishes. Still on the mend, still not great, so this is why you're getting this video, which is the comparison video. It's a lot easier to do a comparison video than for me right now in my condition than it is to do a full review of this figure. But full review will be coming of this. It's just difficult to do, moving around and all that stuff. So I'm going to do a comparison video because this, I know a lot of people already have this Deformation Space or TE or whatever, that designer, same person designed this, and this is FansToys. Now I made a post a couple days ago maybe, about saying that I like this better than this. After fooling with this for a while, you know, transforming it back and forth, just sitting here and transforming it and messing with it, I can say yes, this is built better. Slightly better, is better quality. Now I'm not the one to say that just because it uses die cast it's better quality. That's not the case. It does not always mean it's the case, and in this instance I think it's just slightly better because of the paint. This is about the same weight. This is almost the same weight as this. I haven't weighed them, so I don't know. I'm just going by how they feel, but they feel the same weight, which is crazy because this has a lot of die cast in it. And I don't know if this has a little bit of die cast, but not a lot. Like the feet are die cast and some, you know, just the parts are die cast. It might be some die cast up in here, inside, but I know FansToys has a lot of die cast as usual. And they do use the die cast well. It's not like they don't. There's some companies that just pump die cast in and it just doesn't feel great. But like I said, if this was painted, and that's preference, everything here will be subjective. So out the gate again, FansToys is definitely more tuned. I heard people say, well, it's tuned, why do people not like it? Everybody doesn't like tune, and just because it's tuned doesn't mean it looks good. Straight tune to me is a case by case study, for lack of a better term, and this case isn't it. I definitely like the way this looks better than this, and I wish this had some changes, had some of this over here, and it would be good. I don't like the face here. Again, it's tune accurate. I don't like this, which is tune accurate. I don't like the alt mode at all. Like it's just it's ugly and it's tune accurate, but it's ugly. I don't like it. I don't like the way it looks. I don't remember the character looking like that, even though it did look like that. It just wasn't what was in my head. This is what was in my head when I looked at the character. The heroic type of features, I like that. I like that. And over here, it's just tuned. The offsetedness. I mean, I like what they did. Some people say it's too complicated as far as the legs. They are a lot to it, but that's what you get when you want tune accuracy in both modes. You usually have overcomplicated transformation. And that's just the key, because they have to do different things. Mass shifting and all that stuff is not a real thing. So they have to compensate by having other parts tucked in the legs, flipped around, and all of that. With that said, this isn't a bad figure by any. I mean, it's a FansToys figure. I don't think FansToys make a terrible figure, but it's just, I think this and the Dinobots are the only FansToys figures that lost in my mind. And that's a personal thing. That's a subjective thing. Let me separate these a little bit so you can see. And I'll put the G1 in the middle so you can tell which is which. or which is more accurate. I already know FansToys is more accurate because I already looked. But like I said, if the paint was done better over here and more like this. Now, if you like the doll paint, that's totally subjective. Almost everything I'm talking about is a subjective thing, except for a few. This is a better action figure. It's better articulated. Let me see how the waist joint is. Yeah, I mean, it has a better waist joint. If ab crunch, this has an ab crunch, but it's not a big ab crunch. You see, you get that little bit. It's enough for me. I'm not too big on the ab crunch, but do you have an ab crunch? At least it has one. The legs for me over here in the DS is better. I just like this more. I like the popped out moldedness of this more. This over here is like more flat. I do like these little buttons right here more so than over here. That's just because it's the way they look, the shininess and the glossiness. I like metallic paints. Over here, the legs are negotiable. I like the black hands over here versus the gray hands. Again, that's subjective. I do like these yellow accents over here. I like the vibrancy of the yellow paint, which is, I mean, that's FansToys. That's going to be what it is. Both are pretty much the same height. Again, let me show the head sculpts up close and personal. I just like DS more, even though this head sculpt is painted better and more accurate. I just like the DS head sculpt more. I do wish I had a different face on here. I like the smiley face. I really hated this face with the face that came on it, but once I put the smiley face on there, it's not as bad. When I say articulation, it's just a few points that are more articulated on this guy on the DS version than the FansToys version. But the FansToys isn't as limited as some of the figures. Still has some limited back, you know, but you can't get all the way up in the front, and the back can be mitigated with the knee joint. So I mean, articulation is very small as far as the differences. From the back, they're both pretty clean. But yeah, there's not much more to say about the two without going into the extreme detail of like technical things like hardware. That's where I think FansToys will beat DS, but DS isn't bad. Like, their hardware isn't bad. The arm articulation is better, but they don't have ratchets. They don't need them. And they do have ratchets up and down, so that's a good thing. I wasn't sure, I couldn't remember. But yeah, like, this arm articulation is limited to that. And same ratchets. And they don't have ratchets out either. Just realize that. And it's funny, this plastic, I don't know if this is paint. It kind of looks like plastic to me, like red plastic. Or maybe it is, maybe it's red plastic painted red. I don't know. It felt weird to me when I felt it. It didn't feel like FansToys plastic to me for some reason. And I don't know if that's the paint, if it's the lack of paint, if there's no paint on here, it's just because it's just red plastic or what. I can't tell. I'm not a paint expert. Either one of these figures are great buys, great purchases, and I think it's totally up to you as far as aesthetics wise and subjectiveness as to whether you like what you like. Unfortunately, I was saying, oh, I don't like this as much, so maybe I'll turn it into alt mode and just have an alt mode version. But I really hate the alt mode on this. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Maybe, I don't know. This might be the first FansToys that I sell and don't add to my collection. I'm not sure. All right, so we didn't even get to the tapes, but that's null and void because I use MMC for my tapes. So I can say, just as a constellation, the gun on rewind for FansToys broke out the package, and I can't find the other piece. I can't really walk. I can't really look around because, you know, movement is limited for me. All right, so thanks for watching this video. I hope it helped a little bit for people that's on the fence, maybe, to what version they want. I'll get over with you. Peace.
Ain't no, life ain't no, life ain't no, life ain't no. As long as you alive, you can give another try and take it real high if you want.